Well, hello, my beautiful Pisces. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with a little bonus reading all about you. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings, and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I've sourced a softer frequency to prepare and cleanse your reading. I'm using Gaia chimes to cleanse hourly, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound, okay? So let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Pisces, this is a little bonus reading all about you. Us tarot readers, we tend to focus on career, money, love, but we never ask how are you doing. So this reading will tap into what you're moving through right now and what lies on the other side. Also, I shuffle the cards. I do not choose the cards for you, so this reading, it may not resonate with everyone, so please bear that in mind and let us begin. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Great Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Pisceans? What do they need to know at this time? What's going on with them? How are they moving through this time period? Can you please show them the way? The first card, what are my beautiful Pisceans going through? We have the Tower. Oh, my beautiful Pisceans, what's going on with you? So there could be a period of restructure. Some of you may have literally gone through some sort of shock in your life recently, but we'll get to that energy in a moment. I'm sending you a huge hug out there. You know, the Tower can also indicate that you are elevating in your frequencies at this moment in time. It means that you're shattering anything that is not authentic and true, and you are restructuring your life to rebuild back better. Also, you could be on the precipice of change where you are taking a leap of faith on something and you may be a little bit uncertain or unsure about the next steps, but I definitely see that you're guided. You know, the Tower, it is a card where if you're feeling a little bit stuck in a rut, it means there's a breakthrough, okay? It can be that you are kind of liberating yourself out of a situation. There could have been sudden change thrust upon you. And sometimes when we're about to have a major breakthrough, the universe will send us very chaotic experiences or challenges in order to clear space, as it were. If you think about the Tower like a storm, you know, it cleanses the energy and it releases pressure. So a lot of you, I feel like you are under pressure at this moment in time. You've been going through a very challenging time indeed. And we have that Knight of Pentacles. There is stability. You are going to be able to ground yourself in this. Some of you may have even had to challenge someone or stand up for yourself in some area of your life. And I feel like you are actually a very strong person, a tower of power there. But as a starting card, the Tower just basically indicates that you are going through radical change at this time, and it can indicate that you're breaking free from something. We have the Seven of Swords. Now, this is in a past position, so this could indicate that perhaps you discovered something about somebody, saw their true colors, for example. I mean, this could literally mean with that Seven of Swords that you're shattering illusions in your life. You know, for example, and I'm just giving you an example here, if I am wanting to do something for myself, and I think I've got a lot on my plate. I've got a to-do list, and I look at that to-do list and I go, you know what, I've put 10 things on there. I'm going to get them all done tomorrow. It's going to be great. And then tomorrow comes and I'm like, well, who am I kidding? A lot of these things are going to take a lot of time. I'm probably going to really complete 4 of those things. Why am I putting 10 things on my to-do list for today? It just means that I'm going to let myself down by not completing 10 things. If I be a little bit more realistic and put 4 things on my list, and then if I've got time, I can add more to the list. So it can literally be that you are critiquing yourself a little bit and saying, okay, come on, let's be realistic. Let's be practical about this, and let's kind of like not set ourselves up for failure, okay? Because if I put 10 things on my list to do, and I know deep down I'm probably, overstretching it a bit, putting myself under pressure, I'm setting myself up to feel a little bit down about myself that I didn't complete it, for example. So I'm just giving you that because that energy is popping in there. But actually, I feel for some of you, there is this energy of feeling, I think they want that card. By they, I mean my guides. There is this energy here of you feeling a little bit fed up about your circumstances. You may feel that the rhythm of life is off somehow, or that you're not in the flow, or you just feel like it's been one thing after another, and you're like, can I catch a break? Can I just like have a moment where I'm seeing progress, or I'm like having a breakthrough? So we have the Hermit there as well. I mean, the Hermit with the Tower can indicate some of you feel a little bit alone in your circumstances, but I do have a 6 of Pentacles there for you, which tells me that, there are people in your everyday circumstances that perhaps would be a really great support network, okay? I do feel some of you, if you are going through something, there is a generous spirit being sent to you in the form of a person who basically will become a firm friend forever in life if you are searching for your soul tribe. But if not, I feel this could be, a person who really cares about you, kind of like hearing your silence or noticing that something's a little bit off and reaching out and saying, hey, what's happening? Haven't heard from you in a bit. What's going on there? Okay, so I feel there is some sort of support being offered to you. But a lot of you, more than anything, I feel you may be wondering, does the universe see the challenge that you're going through? I feel a lot of you have been disappointed by something, and it just feels like perhaps it hasn't been fair. And I feel that this is actually a period where you're rebuilding better than before and stronger than ever before as well. We have the 9 of Cups. So all this challenge, I don't like it myself. I didn't choose the cards for you, but looking at the challenging cards, you have 7 of Swords. I mean, this can be a quest for independence, more independence. So if you feel like overwhelmed or stifled in a relationship, it can be that you're trying to break free from something. And maybe even diplomatically, it could be that it is a conversation you need to have with someone who you have to say, look, give me space, give me time, give me just, a moment to be by myself, do my own thing. So I feel that could be something that you're dealing with, especially with that 6 of Pentacles. This could be balance there. But actually, I see some of you, this Tower is going to be a really nice surprise, whatever it is, because the 4 of Cups is a nice surprise, and so is the 6 of Pentacles. It means an extra resource from the universe. And, the 9 of Cups indicates a wish. So a lot of you are trying to transform your life, and coming out of your comfort zone is, of course, important in order to obtain this wish. And most importantly, fulfillment, happiness, joy, health. Those are the things that are super important. So a lot of you, it feels with that Tower that somehow you're stuck, or you feel isolated, or you feel like you've been going round and round in circles on a situation in life, and you just want to break free. You just want to kind of like, get it over already and just get on and keep building your empire in life, or feeling secure. I mean, this card can indicate that sometimes we build a construct in life that feels safe and secure, and actually it starts to limit us in some way. So for example, we all aspire to some degree to, have an apartment or a home, for example, somewhere we can call our own. And it can be that perhaps we need a mortgage to be able to afford that, if you're lucky enough to be able to get one of those. And it can be that, of course, that ties you into something. It locks you into a financial kind of contract with a financial provider, for example, and that can indicate it set the parameters now for your finances. You have to rely on making a certain amount of money per month in order to be able to pay that. Otherwise, of course, there are penalties regarding that. So it can be that, you're locked into a construct. And whilst you have a beautiful home to show for it, it can feel now that you're locked into this thing that at first it feels exciting and new and you get comfortable in it. And then suddenly you're like, I desire something else. Or it can indicate that you start to look at the parameters of your finances or your circumstances and start to either look at other options regarding comfort and, property and contracts and legalities. And I'm just giving you an idea of what constructs we can get locked into. For some of us, we can get into a comfortable relationship where a person that we're with long term, they love us, of course, and it can indicate that suddenly we start to take each other for granted. We don't mean to, it just happens sometimes, and it's about reigniting that spark. So some of you could literally have a very conflicting kind of discussion with a partner, for example, and it clears the air on something. I once read, and I thought it was incredible. Someone wrote about the Tower card. That every time they sort of asked a question to the deck and the Tower came out, they knew that they were going to have an argument with their teenage daughter, because every time the Tower came out, the argument ended in their daughter slamming the door to the point where the whole building shook. So, the Tower can be something that literally shakes the foundation of a building, or, can be an explosive kind of argument or a conflict that reaches a critical point. But it can indicate a lot of you are under pressure, okay, and things have been building up, and I feel this is you kind of looking at managing stress levels. This is a card of being vigilant as well. So I have to honor the cards that have popped out, because you do have a Seven of Swords in the past position. So this can indicate that some of you, not all of you, you may have dealt with a person who let's put it this way, they betrayed your trust, or they were a little bit loose with the truth, or there was a breach of confidence or even confidentiality in a person or a situation. And it can indicate that you feel that if you've experienced someone doing something under the radar, for example, and you caught them out in the past, it can be that with that Page of Swords, you've been hyper vigilant ever since. I mean, for some of you, this could mean also that you went through a very traumatic experience in your life to date, and you have been hyper vigilant, or something changed, something completely rocked your world, turned your world upside down, and ever since you've been on guard and kind of preempting that it could happen again, okay? And that could be any circumstance. It could be for example, humanity, we all experienced a major event across the world a couple of years ago that none of us could ever fathom in our lifetime that we would witness or experience. And it can have been a bit of an awakening, an eye-opener to all of us about life, what's important, who is taking the journey of life and love with us, and what is it we really want. It's breaking the construct, really seeing, because the Tower is a wake-up call, okay? But it can also indicate that it changed the parameters of life and the dynamics of how you deal with life, and it can have made you hyper vigilant for a time, because it is in a crossing position, and it can be that now things are starting to kind of die down a little bit, or you're trying to get back to some sort of normal. Of course, dynamics change quite quickly, so it can be that you're so over experiences like that, but in the back of your mind, because this is a card to do with the mind, and because it is in a crossing position there and you read both sides, it can be that sometimes it comes into your mind I wonder, could it ever happen again? Or, let me be prepared should there ever be something like that going on there again. The Tower and the Page of Swords, it can also indicate that you want to break free from something, or you feel something is going round and round in circles and you're just so fed up of it, you're bored, and you may feel that it's time to seek new experiences or reignite that passion, that joie de vivre, that lust for life there. And the Page of Swords can be that you're looking for new experiences outside of your home space, because we do have the Tower and the Hermit. So some of you could have been a little bit of a homebody over the last couple of years, and now you're trying to get yourself out there and feel more fulfilled, doing things that bring you joy, and searching for new experiences, new places, new faces that you can connect to long term. Also, the Tower and the Hermit, again, I'm sending you a huge hug out there. A lot of you may feel very isolated in your circumstances, or feel alone, or the nature of your friendships are evolving and changing, and you may feel that somehow there's a detachment, because this can be a detachment card in this position. And I feel that, if you're starting to feel a little bit disconnected from people right now, or even things that you used to love doing, maybe they're hitting different at this time, sometimes we must acknowledge that the universe will send us a tower to kind of like shock us out of a situation that is binding us or not good for us. And it can mean that you're evolving away from friendships that served a purpose. They taught you lessons, but it can indicate that now, there is this sort of clearing of space so you can hear your heart and your higher self, because this is often connected to the crown chakra, the tower, and it means that you're listening to your higher self, and there's a bigger message there. This could be like a rude awakening of, a dynamic between you and a friend. It could be that you found them out on a discrepancy, or, maybe you discovered something that someone was hiding from you, because it is a past position. So it can indicate that you've been through a shock or you've experienced something. But a lot of you, it could also be this sense for you moving forward independently on something, and you may actually be shocking other people with your decisions at this time, because this is a card of having the courage of your convictions and seeking out a new way, or trying to be more inspired. You have ideas, and I feel a lot of you could be waiting for something to settle before you make a move on something. You're looking for an omen as to whether you should stay or go on something, and you may have to make a decision. The Six of Pentacles, you're going to make a very balanced decision, and the Nine of Cups, you get the best out of the situation, and you also align yourself with a wish there as well. But, this card can indicate that some of you, and not all of you, don't shoot the messenger when I say this because my guides are giving me this. It can be that you don't want things to get critical on a situation. You don't want to be reactionary with that tower energy. So it could be that you're learning to articulate your needs from a healthy place. And that's not just to avoid conflict with other people. This is so it does not affect your health. If you think about the nature of the tower, when it sort of gets hit by the lightning bolt, it goes on fire, and that is affecting the inner structure of the tower. And it is something that could be health related for some of you. It could be that you're managing stress levels. You don't want things to get highly pressurized to do yourself a disservice by letting it get to a critical position. So, this can be a vigilant card where you're keeping an eye on pressure. A lot of you, it could be blood pressure, for example, or it could be reactionary situations with people where they trigger you. And often we have to acknowledge as well that sometimes, we have this almost romanticized idea sometimes about healing. Healing is not this sort of like spiritual moment where we release a lot of things and we hear like harps pinging away in the background. Often healing comes through the tough stuff, sorting through the real mud and grit of life. And, sometimes people are actually sent into your life to trigger you. And that is to kind of help you connect to your own ability to heal yourself. Sometimes a person has to ramp up, their behavior. And I feel like they're often sent by the universe. Like many years ago, there was a person who came into my life, and I thought, the audacity of this person to be talking to me like that. How dare they? And I was just like so shocked by their behavior. But in that very moment, it taught me about my values, how strong I am, and what I needed to say to stand up for myself in that moment. And, sometimes these triggers come and they set you free from being quiet about the things that you really want to say, that you really want to do. So I feel a lot of you could be dealing with a person or a situation like that where you're literally breaking free from something. And it's actually quite exciting because the Knight of Pentacles is in your Earth position, which means you're working really hard to make your life work right now, but you're stable in this change, whatever this is, okay? I feel a lot of you, it could be connected to your body, grounding yourself. It could be a wake-up call, something that you need to keep your eye on. For some of you, it could be water related. Maybe you're dehydrated. It could have got to a critical stage there with that tower energy. For some of you, swords are to do with the mind, okay, or to do with communication. So it could be that you've put a lot of pressure on yourself, that you've been extra critical of yourself recently, or you feel like you just cannot catch a break, and some negative, intrusive thoughts could be popping in there from time to time, and you need to ground yourself and really look at the reality criticality of the situation, that you're doing an awesome job with the circumstances that you've got. And I feel this is a card of being determined to make something work, and you will make it work, whatever it is. And, you know, the Knight of Pentacles also indicates you being stable during moments of transformation. So the world may be chaotic or transforming around you, or things are fast moving and very changeable at this time. But I feel a lot of you are secure in this change, and I feel this is about you sort of preserving your position. Or, I mean, it can also be that even though there is some sort of shock, I mean, if you look up the meanings of the cards, the Knight says you're still standing. And I'm actually hearing a song by Elton John, I'm Still Standing, after all this time. So I feel, listen out for that song. I feel this is to highlight to you that you actually have a guardian with you as well that is protecting you and directing you. So I want you to be aware of that. You're not alone in this situation. But I also feel there is this energy that, yes, you may have gone through a major transformation in your life, a radical change, maybe even a sudden change, an abrupt one, maybe that even shocked you at some point, but you're still standing, and the best is yet to come. Okay, because you have that Nine of Cups, that's your outcome card there. Now, in the past position, we have the Seven of Swords. It's in the past, so I feel that's positive. You know, the Seven of Swords is often a misunderstood card. In the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Seven of Swords is actually a golden background, and anything that's gold in the background or yellow is often very positive. And it can mean that, you know, you want to find a diplomatic solution to a very delicate situation. So if things have got critical in a relationship with you and a person, whether it's your partner, sibling, parents, neighbors, boss, landlord, whoever it is, it could be that you want to find a solution. You are trying really hard to find, you know, a solution that fits all, that's balanced, that's fair. Okay, and you don't want things to get critical or combustible in the vocabulary department, and you want to find a way to resolve it without it going too far or escalating to the point where, you know, it stops, you know, you being able to move forward, for example. So that Seven of Swords can indicate that there is a need to find another way. Okay, to approach a situation. Often when you notice the Seven of Swords, the figure is running off there, and they have 5 swords in their hand, and 2 swords are left behind because they're in stealth mode. They're actually removing the weaponry from the army because they don't want to fight. They want to find another way. Okay, so it can be that you need to be more strategic in your approach to something in order to find another way to either pacify it or solve it in some way without it getting critical. So it could also be that some of you, there is some sort of correspondence, for example, that you cannot avoid or ignore, and you must really adhere to it. You must face it, for example. Otherwise, it could build up, escalate, and get critical. And then, of course, there may have to be like... well, I want to say an intermediary with that Six of Pentacles. It could be that someone has to intervene or get involved there. And, you know, King of Swords can be like a really serious discussion about something. But ultimately, the Nine of Cups means that it will be resolved in a way that benefits you, that you'll be really happy with. And also, the Seven of Swords can indicate a desire or yearning for independence, that you're breaking free from groupthink, you're breaking free from other people's expectations, because you do have an expectation card hanging over your head in the spread. So it can be that you just want to go off and do your own thing. So for example, you know, if you... let's say with the tower can be a construct, a home. For example, it can be that if you are living with, you know, roommates, for example, or you're living with parents, or a nosy sibling, for example, it could be that you feel like your privacy has been breached in some way, or you may feel that, you know, things are escalating and getting critical and you want more independence. You want to kind of like have some alone time, for example. And it can be that, you know, you want to find that balance between spending time with people, connecting, but at the same time, there is a need for you to go off and do your own thing. And you need to exert that level of independence in order to be feeling truly fulfilled, because things will get critical. You'll get snappy. Whenever you want to do your own thing and people are encroaching on your time, we tend to get a little bit frustrated or snappy and be like, oh my gosh, because you tend to be kind of like an overgiver with that Six of Pentacles right there. And it can be that you've been neglecting your own needs, or, you know, that things have been a little bit frustrating. They're building up. The tower can be a build-up of things that you feel you need to get around to doing, but you just don't have the time because you have so much on your plate. So I would also say that a lot of you are coming into balance with that, and you're going to find the optimum midway point to resolve an issue or to find time for yourself so you can fulfill your own needs there. Of course, this could be if you're a parent, for example. You know, you can never catch a break. You are guiding the next generation. You're also trying to do work and, you know, pay the bills and do all of the stuff, and then the housework and keeping things tidy. Everything builds up and it gets too much. It gets critical sometimes, a lot of pressure. So a lot of you could be trying to find a healthy outlet for that pressure, and it can be that, you know, you're at capacity right now, and you're going to find balance and harmony in your life and a little bit more me time if that's possible as well. Now, I'm just going to pull a quick card on that Seven of Swords, because it can also indicate that you have discovered someone was a little bit loose with the truth or even hiding something from you. But I do feel here that when you confront this issue, looking at the energy, I feel like you'll be disappointed that they didn't tell you or couldn't confide in you, is what I see there. But ultimately, I feel there's a lot of understanding here, and you kind of like, if you put yourself in their shoes regarding the situation, you kind of understand. And I feel it actually strengthens the bond between you and this person. It could also be vice versa, that perhaps you have not been confiding in a person, or there's a conversation that you feel has been left unsaid. And I feel this person would be disappointed not to hear this conversation, but at the same time, you may be feeling that there has to be a right moment. You've been mulling it over, reflecting on whether you should tell this person. But when you get a moment and have this person alone, I feel, you know, this would be a great time to confide in this person or confront this person about something diplomatically, because you have the Seven of Swords there. And I feel you'll get the best out of the situation like that, okay? Now also, that Seven of Swords, for some of you, not all of you, and I hope actually none of you have had this experience, but it's just come through there. Some of you, there may have been a theft. A literal theft, okay? So whether this is a theft of ideas, or for some of you, someone may have broken into your car, for example, or perhaps maybe someone has been an opportunist in the working environment. This is something that's already happened. It's in the past position, so I don't want anyone to be paranoid, okay? But this could be something that you're like fed up about, or you feel so disappointed and let down about, especially if it was something that was really important that was taken, okay? But we must remember, whilst it doesn't make you feel happier or console you in any shape or form, the most important thing there is you have your health and you're here, and, you know, again, it comes back to this energy that you're still standing. Things like insurance can hopefully in some way replace some things, of course, if you had insurance, but obviously if they had sentimental value, then that is pretty awful. I hate that message coming through there. Six of Pentacles, though, is an energy of it being returned to you. So random. Now, this may not resonate with all of you, but I feel there's this energy that it could be found. Something could be found. You know, if some of you have lost something as well, it could be found. Six of Pentacles, something comes back around. So I want you to be aware of that. But I'm clarifying the Seven of Swords right now. So this can indicate that a lot of you are feeling very guarded, or, you know, you have been maybe quietly behind the scenes working on a personal development project or something that is going to inform your life. And, you know, it can be that you're working towards something that is going to bring you immense joy, because the Ace of Wands is in this position, clarifying this Seven of Swords, and that means a breakthrough. It means a sudden kind of transformation that is actually going to be really positive and bring you joy. A lot of you, this could be that you're mentally exhausted, okay, and you've been trying to guard your inner peace, and this is going to help you bring more vitality into your world and also help you connect to optimum levels of energy. But, you know, Ace of Wands tends to be that spark of creation, and the Seven of Swords indicates just make sure when you are creating something that you either patent it, trademark it, or copyright it, to make sure that no one can steal your intellectual property, okay? So just watch out for that. But the Seven of Swords, you know, with the Ace of Wands, if someone has lied to you or let you down in some way, because there is a card here that is all about disappointment, and I feel that Ace of Wands can indicate it changed everything. looking at the Six of Pentacles, it feels like you're trying to take a very balanced viewpoint of it. But with the Hermit, it's like with space and time and sort of stepping back, I feel you could understand a little bit more about the situation. I mean, with the King of Swords, you're very detached. It can be that you're cutting this person out of your life. You're not going back, but at the same time, you're trying to resolve it within yourself in order to move forward and not carry it with you as, a karmic load on your back that you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to set myself free from this, because I feel a lot of you are recognizing that, forgiveness, the measure of it is often to lighten your own karmic load. To free yourself up from the burden of what occurred, because it can shut us down or it can shape us into protecting ourselves and moving forward, having been influenced by the experience. And, it can prevent you from having joy or happiness or being open to better opportunities based on the experiences that you had. So a lot of you are kind of processing and letting things go in order to move forward. And that Four of Cups, I feel the universe is actually going to surprise you with something really wonderful there. So, for example, if you have a trust issue, because the Seven of Swords with that Page of Swords and the Tower, if you are someone who wanted a stable relationship and someone broke your trust and you felt you'll never love again and you're trying to rebuild, this card indicates, you may be closed off to love right now because you're healing, but when the moment is right, the universe is going to appear with the right person and a relationship is going to come on in and take you by surprise, okay? And, the Nine of Cups can be that this love, because the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Cups are together, it can mean that this love that comes on in is everything you ever wished for and dreamed of in a person, and you would never have met your perfect partner if you hadn't let go of the past person, for example. So the universe tends to replace some experiences in order to let you know that you're learning, you are the student of life, as it were, and that sometimes the lesson of letting go is one of the hardest things to acknowledge, but brighter and better things do come in once we learn to detach from something that is hurting us or, is stifling progress, for example. The Four of Cups can indicate a lot of you are just fed up, that you're exhausted, and it's always a battle. If you can see that Page of Swords, this page is ready for anything. It feels like a bit of an uphill battle right now. But I do think that things will stabilize for you. And the Four of Cups can also indicate that some of you have felt a level of detachment, feeling unfulfilled, and apathy there. And it can be that a lot of you are daydreaming of possibilities, and there's been a bit of a lull in life, like things got really quiet. You're like eradicating drama and things like that from your life. But then there's a stillness. And this is where the good stuff comes in. It's like the universe will conspire on your behalf, and any disappointments or sadness will be kind of like washed through you and away, in order for you to be back in the flow, and trust the process, because that is a way that the universe is now responding to your desires to align you with what you truly want. And that can occur in many different forms there. So have faith in the process. Difficult, I know. It's really hard to fathom that, but I definitely see here that you're on a trajectory to be fulfilled, to have your wishes, but it may require you stepping out of a comfort zone, letting go of something that's been hurting you. A lot of you could be in a very detoxifying kind of energy, decluttering, reshaping or reforming your life. Some of you, this could be a relocation. The Tower could literally be that your whole life is in boxes, in chaos, and you're about to move to a different location, and right now you're feeling a little bit fed up because you're trying to run your life, but at the same time reach for something new. And when you start to get settled there in that Six of Pentacles, it can indicate that everything feels like, and relax, and now you're settling in, and now it's the best thing you ever did, for example. But this is your next 6 weeks position. The Six of Pentacles, if you know the meaning of this card, it can indicate an unexpected resource from the universe. And that's why I love the fact that you've got the Four of Cups and the Six of Pentacles, because it indicates the universe is going to surprise you. And this Tower does not have to be negative. This Tower can actually mean that you're surprised, that suddenly everything comes into balance and your dedication to something is kind of starting to bear fruit or pay off in some way. And also, for some of you, this could be, and this may not resonate with everyone, of course, but it could be that something as simple, but also something as important as you may feel with that tower. There is a deconstruction of society or community in some way, because with Six of Pentacles is to integrate. There's more than one person on a Six of Pentacles often. So it can be that you feel that perhaps there is a breakdown of society in some way, and suddenly someone comes on in and proves to you that actually there's so much goodness in the world, they're generous, they're helpful, and you're like, oh my gosh, there is a balance there in the energy. So some of you could experience that in your next 6 weeks position there. But the Six of Pentacles, it often means balance, harmony, and it also indicates something from your past informs your future, but in a really positive way. So it can be that you learn a lesson in your past that will now set you up and inform you for your present moment so that you don't repeat a cycle, because a lot of you are breaking through a cycle here, and that is a challenging experience in itself. But this card, it actually indicates that you've been so generous with your heart, and now it's time for equal distribution. What goes around comes around, and I feel a lot of you are getting some really great karma coming your way because you have been going through such a challenging time, and it is about time that you had that sort of reciprocal energy coming on in. Six of Pentacles can also indicate that you've been hoping for something, you've been struggling with something, but that which you struggled for, it now comes into your life, or that you obtain it in some way. It is yours. And I would also say, just when you're beginning to doubt something, it's like you're reminded of the goodness or the opportunities that you're like about to receive. And I feel there's something coming in and like showing up for you in your near future that you're going to celebrate, whatever this is. But a lot of you, it can be that you're recalibrating and getting back into balance. For some of you, this could be that you are rebalancing hydration levels, or you're looking at hormonal kind of levels there. And the tower can indicate you've had a bit of a wake-up call, especially when you have the Knight of Pentacles there. This could be health related or to do with the body. As we mature, we start to experience creaks in places that are not there. So it could be like, you've had a creak in your knee, for example. It could be like, oh, okay, I need to pay close attention to that because it has now sort of made itself known that if I don't, things could get critical. So it could be that you're looking at vitamins or, healthier, more balanced, meals, or it can be to do with being active, for example. So please apply it to your situation. It may not resonate for everyone, but I have to honor the energy as it comes in. But I do feel with that Six of Pentacles, the universe is being benevolent with you because you have been through some stuff, and you have been very vigilant, and you've been a warrior, and I feel like you've been flexible to try and accommodate these changes. And I feel this is where your thoughts actually manifest a wish, because the King of Swords, this is your advice to yourself in this moment, which is to strategize, be decisive, make a decision, be rational, judge the situation, and then take a step towards what it is you desire. So a lot of you as well, because the Page of Swords is in your crossing position, it can be that you're witnessing any intrusive thoughts or negative thoughts there, and now you're taking command of your thoughts and not catastrophizing a situation. Once, something was critical, when you get a piece of news, for example, that shocks you, you're like, oh my gosh, that's just, and then it sits with you, and then you start to dissect it, and then you start to realize, okay, I can manage this. Let's see how we can work around this. It's upsetting, it's frustrating, but let's see how we can work with it. And then suddenly it doesn't become so critical anymore. Sometimes that hermit, where you distance yourself or take a temporary time out to go walk in nature or sleep on it or whatever, it indicates that now you can command it. Now you can really dissect it because you're not in the triggered phase of being reactionary to it. So a lot of you could be looking at your reactions on something and trying to now really detach from the passion of discovering it, and kind of like stepping back and really analyzing it and seeing where you're at with it, if that makes sense. But this is about you being really honest with yourself, and also with somebody. If you feel that someone is hiding something from you, or you feel something has been unfair, you're literally taking it to task. You are confronting it head on and opening up a dialogue in order to confront it and erect healthier boundaries to make sure that you keep things balanced and that someone does not overstep a mark. That tower can literally be frustration, anger. If you've been repeating a cycle with a person, in a conversation or a dynamic or an experience. It can be that you're so fed up and you're like, enough already. And that is the catalyst for change. And then you can kind of like move forward to the next stage, because King of Swords thinks before they act. But also thoughts become things. So if you have a lot of pressure on your shoulders, it can indicate there's no room for you to manifest or really focus on, what it is you want as an outcome, when it comes to like manifesting a wish or a dream. With the Hermit energy in the circumstances outside of yourself, sometimes the universe calls you to a higher purpose and you need to withdraw from distractions. And it can be that you are actually in that period of spiritually evolving. It's a period of introspection, and it can be a lonely process, especially when you are learning that your happiness is not tied up in other people, that you're not responsible for another person's happiness. You've got no time for time wasters or games. You are disconnecting in order to align with something better, something that, will benefit your life there. And I feel a lot of you've got something that you need to do. And maybe it's a path that you got to walk alone for a while. And it doesn't mean that you're completely disconnecting from everybody. It means you're keeping your people that matter to you close. You're integrating, you're balancing your time out with the people who would definitely miss you if you're absent from their life. But also I feel this is about you kind of like taking a path that perhaps some people don't understand. And that's okay, because this is your life. It's not theirs. They're not here to understand your life. It's nice to be seen, of course, but I feel that perhaps it's time for you to acknowledge your truth, that there's something that you feel like you need to do right now, and you're called to that higher purpose, and you're going to withdraw in order to do that. But also, looking at the energy levels here with that tower, it can be that you're completely exhausted. And if you keep going and ignoring the signs in your body, things could get critical. Seasonal cold, the Hermit energy can indicate that suddenly, you are forced to take some time out because you're burnt out completely. So I would just say that some of you need to listen to your body a little bit more. And we've built a really loud world where it's hard to hear our higher self and our intuition. And I feel a lot of you are taking stock of that and trying to find more time for yourself so you can connect on a deeper level there. And if you think about the Hermit, they tend to remove themselves from society when they're just fed up with certain constructs or structures that are not working, or there's some unfairness there. With that Page of Swords in the resistance position, for some of you, this could be that you feel there's a deliberate kind of deconstruction of society or life, or you feel there is a breakdown of something going on purpose, and you are really fed up with the way things are. It could also be that you've dealt with a person who is deliberately triggering you in some way, and you feel they've been unkind or dishonest or singling you out, bullying you, for example. I feel a lot of you are withdrawing from this in order to focus on what's important for you, your sense of values, and your morals there as well. And for some of you, if this is a path that you can take, because I feel a lot of you are on a pilgrimage back to your sense of self, rediscovering who you are, your spark, your passion for life. But also I feel some of you, of course, you're in a period of enlightenment, but this could be that you are kind of like protecting your inner light. You're protecting your energy from others. Okay, and I feel you could be withdrawing from anybody who drains you or tries to derail you from your path. And I feel like you're not allowing that to happen there. Also, I'm being given this energy. I have to honor it. It keeps coming through, so I have to honor it. I feel a lot of you are so used to people not showing up for you, or maybe even walking away. You've learned that you are the only one that you can really, really, truly depend on at times, and that you're taking good care of yourself, or you're realizing that you need to take good care of yourself and implement healthier, self-care routines there. And I feel like you're someone who is super independent, self-sufficient, a very strong person, especially since you're leading with the Tower card. And I feel there is a call here for you to fall in love with your life again. I mean, for some of you, this could literally be that you're hoping to find love, to be in a partnership, but you had to learn that you are whole all by yourself, and that you are not seeking your other half. You know, you are someone who's independent, strong, and anyone who comes into your life is a welcome addition to the life that you have built. I feel like you're still standing, you're standing on your own. I mean, for some of you, you could be confronting someone and saying, I stand for this. And even if I stand alone on this, I am staying true to what I believe in. And it is my belief. So it could be that you're being very stoical about something there. But this is in the hope and a fear position. The Knight of Cups, it can indicate that you're trying to attract something into your life, okay? This is a manifestation energy. The cup of water always is all about the vision. Okay, and this could be that you're looking at your visions, your dreams right now, and you're being encouraged to have fun with life as well. Yes, there's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, but this is an invitation from the universe to say, look, reflect on what it is you truly want, what would really fulfill you. And the universe then shows up with that Six of Pentacles and says, I know a better way, come this way. And that's when you're led to that Nine of Cups there. But the Knight of Cups in the resistance position, because this is a hope and a fear position, okay? When it's in this position, this can indicate, as I mentioned earlier, that sometimes we have unrealistic expectations and we need to break free of setting ourselves up to fail or setting ourselves up to disappoint ourselves with the amount of tasks and responsibilities that we kind of thrust on ourselves all at once. The world can be won another day. We can compartmentalize the things that are important and then return to things that, you know, we can do at a later date. Okay, so a lot of you could be dealing with that level of pressure that you're putting on your own shoulders, but also it could be that you're trying to be more kind to yourself and compassionate and noticing when your thoughts under pressure tear yourself down or build yourself up there. The Knight of Cups is a call as well to kind of like fall in love with yourself, not just your life, but pay attention to self-love, to self-knowledge, and that, you know, there's only one you. And that is literally your superpower. And I feel that a lot of you, as you mature, you start to become a little bit more comfortable with yourself and learn to love yourself in a different way. But I feel, you know, this is about you also acknowledging that you are sensitive and that is your superpower. And I feel this is a proposition of opportunity coming your way that some of you, because it is a hope and a fear position, that you doubt will actually come your way. Something that perhaps you've wanted for a long time, worked hard to accomplish. This is a hard-working card. You're being practical. You've got a plan. You're sticking to that plan. You're trying to be realistic as much as possible. Sometimes you overextend yourself, you know, overcommit yourself, take too much on, put too much on your shoulders. But ultimately, I feel like you are going to accomplish the thing that you want the most. And that Nine of Cups there is your outcome card, and it tells me that a wish is delivered or fulfillment is going to be yours. This could be a completion of something that you will enjoy. And I feel this is, you know, an acknowledgement that dreams come true. But sometimes we have to kind of shatter illusions and say, okay, no more talking about it now. I'm taking action. I'm moving forward. I've got the plan. I'm moving. My thoughts are becoming things and it's happening, you know. And that Nine of Cups can also be that sometimes, you know, we have to really take stock of what it is that we want in life, really get clear on it before we actually get it. You know, many years ago, someone asked me what I wanted in my life. They were reading my palm and I was like, well, I just want to be happy. I want this for my family. I just want, and they were like, no, be precise. What is it you want? Because I can't see it in your palm. You are very scattered in your energy. And I was like, what? And I was looking at my palm because at the time I couldn't like understand it. And they were like, yeah, be more direct. And I kid you not. The more direct I started to get through things like rituals of thinking and processing and writing things down, the deeper the lines on my hand. It was so wonderful to witness and document that I was like, oh my gosh, the lines on my hands are becoming a lot deeper because I'm being more clear about what it is I want. And then the path starts to be etched as my future. So, you know, the Nine of Cups indicates if you can dream it, you can have it. And I definitely see that everything that you're working hard to accomplish and trying to manage right now in life, it will come to a stable position here. and you will get the best situation out of it for your highest good. There's a positive outcome there, okay? Thanks so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide? I mean, a lot of you, this can be, you know, abundance in many different forms, whatever it is you're focused on, because it does depend on your focus, because you have that Page of Swords. So we've got the umbrella there. I'll read this card to you in a moment, but it literally says on the first sentence, waiting out the storm, you are protected, okay? So if you are going through a tower moment in your world right now that came on sudden, I feel that you are going to be someone who is protected and directed at this time. Now also, if you're looking for love, I do see love here, okay? And you did get the lips. So there could be a flirtation coming on in. Don't be closed off to love if you've had a previous experience that disappointed you, let you down, or left you bereft, or even like ghosted you. For some of you with that Seven of Swords there, because the new person is not going to be the same at all. The new person is true blue. They're going to walk by your side, and I feel they are romantic, they're stable, and I feel like they offer you a love that you truly deserve and desire. But it says kiss, intimate communication, flirtation, and sensuality. Okay, but I feel a lot of you, this card is more about you speaking your dreams to life and connecting to the sensual side of life, you know, the frivolity. Easier said than done. I know life's hard. It's very challenging. We don't always get time to be frivolous, of course, but sometimes being in the present moment can actually open that element up to us, okay? Now we also have wax seal, invitations, messages. There's an invitation here from the universe to fall in love with your life again, but some of you could get an invite from someone that is being generous to open doors for you if you are trying to get some sort of opportunities. But it says here, a secret is shared. And I definitely see here that someone who perhaps has been very private about something, or you may see this person as perhaps keeping something from you. I feel like you'll understand later. This could also be you keeping something from somebody, but when you feel the moment is right to discuss this, then that's your prerogative to reveal it. But it says, sealing a deal and conclusions are reached, and it is going to be a very happy, fun conclusion there as well, okay? And also, we have umbrella, as I mentioned earlier, and it says here, prepared for trouble, anticipating difficulties. Now, whenever anybody goes through a level of trauma or challenge or a massive tower moment in life, it is something that sticks with them for a very long time. And when we heal, we do not heal to become strong enough to cope with more trouble ahead. We're kind of like almost, how can I put that, expecting trouble ahead because of past experience that have been turbulent. But, you know, healing actually prepares you to be able to allow joy, fun, and even compliments in. So I feel a lot of you are healing in order to fall back in love with your life again and not allow your heart to harden, as it were. So I feel that if you are anticipating difficulties, that Page of Swords indicates you're very vigilant. You're aware of something that could get critical, but I feel like you face it head on, and it may be frustrating, but I definitely see here you're going to move through it and there is a positive outcome. It feels like a brighter time ahead. You know, tough times don't last, tough people do. And I feel like you are someone who is a warrior in life and you've got this. But a lot of you, it's like you've already been moving through the storm and now you're coming out the other side. So if this is you, I'm sending you a huge hug, whatever it is you're going through. But I can see that you're protected and directed. And I feel there is a really positive outcome here for you in the end. So I'm just going to go and get a trinket or rune for you before we close. Okay, so we have, a fish hook. Now, this can indicate a couple of things. For some of you, it could be that perhaps someone was very, how can I put that, charming, and perhaps you fell for someone hook, line, and sinker in the past. And it could be that either they ghosted you or perhaps they broke your heart, for example, and it closed you off to love and it gave you trust issues. But I feel you will love again, and actually you will be loved by someone who is emotionally available and can offer you that love that you truly deserve. For some of you, it could also be that you're gone fishing for an opportunity and you will get a catch. I definitely see here that this is about you casting perhaps a wider net, maybe connecting to broadening your horizon on something there as well. Actually, my guides are right. My guide just said, you're a gift. You're the catch. Thanks so much. I'm so grateful. So remember, you're the catch. Whether that's you going for a job opportunity, whether that's you in a relationship, whether that's you in a friendship, you're the catch. People are lucky enough to be able to enter your life. So start seeing yourself as a gift, because that's who you are. Remember, you are you, and that is your superpower. You can't be anybody else. You can't even be Pisces in the past. You're Pisces right now. You can't even be Pisces in the future. So this is about you living in the present moment, adapting to your circumstances, and knowing that any change that occurs, even if it's sudden and direct, it will be for your highest good. You know, many years ago, I went through my tower moment. Actually, I've had many tower moments, but I went through a radical one many years ago, and I didn't know how things were going to go, and I became very still. But I can tell you right now with 100% truth that if I could go back to my past self, I'd say it's going to be okay. Actually, it's the best thing that could have ever happened to you. And in the future, it's just like a world away from where you are right now. And trust the process. So I feel a lot of you, this will be your truth as you move through this. And I will leave it there. I'm sending you so much love out there, my beautiful Pisceans. Thank you so much, and love and light.